Disclaimer, I do not dislike CinemaSins, and that is not a lie. For my next Everything Wrong with CinemaSins video, I'm going to be singing their video on Sing 2. Enjoy the video, everyone.
Comcast. Oh.
Pointing things out on the screen.
Okay, you f***ers, let's dive in. First, you're having the goddamn Minions introduce the Illumination logo.
But Jeremy, every Illumination movie features the Minions in the opening logo, so how exactly does this movie stand out from the others?
Second, I find it impossible to believe that an entire colony of minions can clap and sing.
But that's what the movie's showing you here.
And finally, 48 seconds of logos for an animated American Idol sequel with animals. Jesus.
Well, logos are going to keep appearing in films so that we can know who made them, so like I've said before, this is not being done by mistake.
Before this play continues much further, I just need to say how disturbing it is to never be told what sort of animal is zipped in the flower costumes.
It's revealed after this musical number that dogs are dressed up as the flowers.
That blue caterpillar's body segment's all just split apart, and why would you put nightmare fuel like this in a—
Firstly, that wasn't intended to be scary. Secondly, scary things happen in animated films. And lastly, I'll be giving this sin my award.
I can't tell if she's enjoying it.
How could she be?
Well, before Suki leaves, Miss Crawley says that she smiled 9 times, belly laughed twice, and chuckled 5 times, which I think answers your question.
Mr. Moon is now chasing the lady critic dog while I Can't Feel My Face plays in the background. It's a song about being f***ed up on cocaine.
Narration.
Dumbass electrician wired this light switch to turn the lights on by flipping down.
Actually, that kind of light switch is a real thing, my dude.
This is a theater director's office? Look at the size of it, my god!
But you already saw this office in the first movie, Jeremy, so how is this just occurring to you now?
How did he close himself in the drawer?
Remember how in the first movie it was established that Buster lives in his office and sleeps and brushes his teeth in the office drawer? So yeah, Buster knows how to get in and out of the drawer by himself.
I'm sending whoever was responsible for the hideous combination of colors on the walls and floors in these adjacent rooms.
As I've said many times before, just because you feel that way about it doesn't mean that others also do, meaning I'll give this my award as well.
These passengers aren't only not annoyed by the music, they appear to be starting to enjoy it.
Yeah, so?
I hate everyone on this bus. They even have a Las Vegas. There's so much about this world that is identical to ours, I'm not even sure why they made these characters all animals.
I really don't understand this criticism because there are plenty of other animated films with talking animals in a world like ours.
What do you mean no?
This is so much like the Muppets Take Manhattan that I'm expecting them to next head to a grungy diner with rats for waiters.
But they don't, so why is this a sin?
None of this movie happens if the Crystal employee would have simply closed this door.
Well, yeah, otherwise we wouldn't have a movie, my dude.
Another light switch that has to be pressed down to turn a light on? Was my electrician wrong? F*** this movie for making me question all the light switches in my house.
See Sin 9.
Nina, do you think that's kind of your size?
Yes, it is in her size, and magically there are enough jumpsuits to perfectly fit everyone in the cast. It's a Christmas miracle.
Another instance of Jeremy singing something he likes.
Phew. Mina remembered how important it was to grab mops to complete their impromptu ruse without any foreknowledge of their immediate need in the following scene.
Okay, so what makes that wrong here?
Also, what kind of talent agency has an office with over 187 floors?
The building doesn't have over 187 floors. Floor 187 is its top floor.
As Mr. Crystal red buttons several terrible acts in a row, I have to ask, why were the community theater guys not good enough to come audition here?
1, because Suki believed that Buster and his crew wouldn't make it in Red Shore City. And 2, she said, you're not good enough, not because she was trying to crush his dreams, it was to protect him and his crew from Mr. Crystal. You know, because he tries to heal Buster twice in the movie.
This is the story.
Narration.
Well, how else would the play be explained by Buster to Mr. Crystal?
It's called Out of This World.
And with that, some harmonizing to a popular song and a stage-dissolving mutual acid trip, we can continue with this very random plot.
Pointing things out on the screen.
I'll give you 3 weeks, Moon. 3 weeks to get this show up and running.
What the f***? I think I can confidently say that any stage show that goes from concept to opening night in 3 weeks is absolute garbage.
But it works out for the characters here.
As we waste time panning over obnoxious fountains to the sweet sounds of higher love, it's clear that most of the film's budget went to song rights. Honestly, these Sing movies are like, now that's what I call music, the movie.
My dude, the word sing is literally in the title of this film, so of course there'll be a lot of songs featured here.
Klaus will turn you into a pro in no time.
He will not.
I'm gonna cast a great partner for you.
He will not.
Which is exactly what happens for both, so how are these sins?
The pig character's spouse brought 110 offspring to the hotel room because pigs f*** like rabbits, I guess?
But don't you remember from the first movie that Rosita said that she has 25 children when she was trying to get a babysitter?
Come on, Johnny, you can do better.
This koala is an asshole.
Yeah, he can be at times, but he's still kind and encouraging.
I think this scene is about how the dance instructor keeps picking on the gorilla, but it might be about the gorilla being bad at ballet.
It's both for two reasons. One, yes, Johnny isn't able to dance, and since Klaus is unable to teach him effectively, that's why he asks Nushi for help later on in the movie. And two, Klaus belittles Johnny because he's a teacher who demands perfection and has no tolerance/patience for failure. In the words of Wicked Binge, he's the type of teacher that absolutely nobody wanted.
Project Runway, animals.
Jeremy says something random cliche.
Clay's house is surrounded by defenses against intruders, but the gate is open?
Yes, and also, after Clay scares Miss Calloway, he fixes that by locking the gate with a chain, which we see when Ash and Buster come to his home.
Bringing your children to work.
But you do know that parents sometimes bring their kids to work, right?
You should just not put food in a movie unless you want me to examine it. Here we have both the world's largest grapes and the world's smallest peaches. But also, the cookies are white chocolate chip, regular chocolate chip, and chocolate chip. And that is a very narrow selection of cookies.
Pointing things out on the screen. Again.
Well, that's a lovely dream you had there, Portia.
Moon is a f***ing idiot. He just heard an incredible voice come out of a fearless woman and he dismisses her?
Well, this is just before Portia becomes part of the show, so I can understand why Buster does this.
'Cause only when we suffer can we be great.
Tell that to f***ing Tom Brady.
Jeremy says something random cliche.
No one will be seated while the movie goes to great lengths to ensure you know that the gorilla had a hard time finding a new job.
That has nothing to do with this part of the film, my dude, and because of that, I'm going to be giving this my award.
In order to prove he needs help performing...
Well, this is the only other way for Johnny to prove to Nushi that he's legit since she won't go with him to rehearsals since she doesn't know him.
You think some riff-raff street dancer can help you more than me?
Riff-raff, street rat, I don't buy that. If only they look closer.
Jeremy sings something that isn't a sin cliche.
I'm just a stupid fat old monkey.
I don't think that at all.
Reasons why this movie is an hour and 49 minutes long for 200 current Jeopardy host.
I just need time with him.
You need to have someone check the bandage requiring burns on your hands, that's what.
But they were already taken care of. When Ash and Buster were in Clay's house the previous night, their hands had already been bandaged by him.
Also, isn't that incredibly presumptuous? Moon is taking their only vehicle. Is Ash just gonna stick around and mooch until she's kicked out or has the police called on her?
What Ash does is sing one of Clay's songs, and after he agrees to be in their show, she rides back with him on his motorcycle.
What finally motivates the reclusive Clay? One of his own songs. What a ego trip this guy is.
This is you just pointing something out in the movie.
I told you were not cut out for this.
But these three were, and we are never told why.
But Mr. Crystal still rejected them like he did with the other contestants.
The movie wants us to believe that Moon can shut himself in drawers and suitcases?
Well, yeah, that's what the movie's showing us here.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, he got stuck in a moment, and he can't get out of it.
Okay, I know that what Jeremy's singing is related to this movie, but I'm still going to count this as Jeremy sings something that isn't a sin cliche.
Yeah, we got 9 suspects loose on the river ride.
Only about 50% of Americans can swim well enough to save themselves, so this intentional dive into the water is going to kill at least one hero.
But it doesn't, so why is this a sin?
This movie demands that we avoid asking questions like, how the f*** did Miss Crawley get this cherry picker to the Crystal household? And how did she find Portia's window?
Doesn't matter. The movie needs to somehow bring Portia into the show.
Wow, my dad's gonna flip when he finds out about us.
Skip. The heroes release the piglets here, and honestly, in hindsight, it's the dickiest of moves.
But kids love sweets, so this move makes sense to me. So what kind of fantasy world are you from where kids don't like candy?
The journey of a lifetime is about to begin.
And somehow all the cast and crew we need to pull this off are available at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, so?
The last minute, spur of the moment, word of mouth only musical somehow sells out. That's so sinful it's worth 10 cents. Everyone who ever tried to mount a stage show is giving you the finger for how easy it all came to you f***ers.
But the show doesn't sell out because Buster tells everyone that the show is completely free.
But the show, despite the amazing sets, is actually terrible.
Firstly, I think most people would argue that Out of This World is the best part of this movie. Secondly, that's just your opinion, so I'll give this sin my award. And also, this sin is worth these many sins.
As this gorilla sings Coldplay on a shit-ass piano held together by ropes, I would like to point out that this movie sucks.
Well, I think most people would argue that this movie is better than the first one and is a very fun movie to watch, which I definitely agree with. And it's completely fine if you don't like this movie, but you should at least explain why, which you haven't done at all throughout this video. And that doesn't just apply here, but also to other movies like Angry Birds 2, Princess and the Frog, Megamind, Shrek 2, Home and Robots. So just like the previous sin, I'll be giving this sin not just my award, but also these many sins.
Without revealing too much of my personality, I will say that this planet really brings back my awareness of Dr. Pimple Popper.
Jeremy says something random cliche.
Jesus, at some point you just want this colorful to end.
Nope, I think that's just you, Jer. And so, this will be getting my award.
This planet is called Joy in the movie, but I can confidently say these trippy worms came directly from the Fear Factory.
That's just what you think about it, meaning I'll give this my award too.
Pigs in space! Is Clay thinking anything other than, well, the jump in the water earlier did ruin my guitar. I will add so many sins. Oh, well, I'm still going to sin it, but gently.
And I'm going to gently pad the sin count and give you the same amount of sins you gave to this emotional part of the film.
I'm sinning that I will never see a concert this amazing unless I take copious amounts of mind-altering medications.
But weren't you earlier complaining about the show being terrible? Pick one lane or the other.
Also, lights can't do this swirly thing.
But the movie is saying that they can. And here's the end result, everybody. The sin total was 389, and the sentence will be, I don't hear you now. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a nice day.